All right, let's talk about the day a god fell. An island completely vanished, and legends were born. We're going to unpack the full, tragic story of the God Valley incident and the final moments of the pirate king who ruled before Roger ever did, Rox D. Zebek. And it all kicks off with this single, absolutely stunning question that Zebek asks Imu right before he loses himself completely. I mean, this one line opens up one of the biggest mysteries we have ever encountered in the entire series. So let's set the scene here. We have Zebek, and he's actively fighting this demonic transformation that's taking him over. And who does he confront? The one figure who sits at the very top of the world. Now that question from Zebek, it immediately sparks this huge debate, right? Are Davy Jones and Joy Boy the same person? Or are they complete polar opposites? I mean, think about it. Davy Jones is called the king of the ancient world. That just feels totally at odds with everything we know about Joy Boy, the liberator, the first pirate. It really makes you wonder, did Davy Jones get that title by force? Maybe he even used his own Davy Bach fight to build up his power and his following. And while Zebek is desperately trying to hold on, Imu delivers the final, cruelest blow. He just twists the knife, revealing that Zebek's old friend, Harold, was being manipulated by the world government this entire time. And that betrayal, that seems to be the last straw, the final trigger that just shatters Zebek's will completely. And once his will is broken, well, Zebek becomes something else entirely. He turns into this unstoppable demon of pure, raw destruction. And the sheer scale of this new form is just immense. He's not just a powerful pirate anymore, he's a straight-up force of nature. He's towering over future emperors like Kaido and Big Mom, and he's acting on one single, horrifying command from Imu: kill everyone. The raw power here is just staggering. I mean, in a split second, the guy we know as the invincible Kaido, a future emperor of the sea, is just swatted aside. He's thrown into a cliff face like he's nothing. And Big Mom? She doesn't fare any better. She gets hit with this absolutely devastating kick, one that's infused with Conqueror's Haki, and she gets sent flying completely out of the fight. So that's 2 future emperors just taken out with ease.
Wow.
But even in all this chaos, one man stands his ground. Of course, it's Whitebeard. With his insane devil fruit, he actually manages to block the demon's attack. And the clash of Conqueror's Haki that follows is just immense. It just goes to show you, even against this monster, Whitebeard's will is absolutely unbreakable. So all this power being thrown around, the sheer force of these clashes is just too much for the island to handle. The entire valley starts to collapse, mountains are crumbling, and the landscape itself has changed forever. The place that was once known as God Valley, it's just gone. It ceases to exist. But here's the thing. Amidst the rampage of this titan and the absolute end of an era, the seeds of the future, of the next generation, are being quietly planted in all the chaos. And what do we see inside a treasure chest being carried away by the Roger pirates? There's a baby sleeping. And it's Shanks. I mean, this is such a pivotal moment. Just stop and imagine for a second how differently his life would have turned out if anyone else had found that chest. Meanwhile, we're seeing the complete and total breakdown of the Rox pirates. I mean, with their captain turned into a mindless monster, what else is going to happen? All their loyalties are shattered. It is an absolute free-for-all. You've got everyone from Shiki to Captain John just fighting for their own survival and trying to grab a piece of the treasure. Okay, but let's shift our focus to the edge of this catastrophic battle, because a quiet act of heroism is about to happen, and it's going to change everything. So get this. Blackbeard's mother, Iris, is running for her life, clutching her 2-year-old son. She gets cornered by the demonic Zebek, and there's nowhere to go. Her only thought is for her bloodline to survive. She's literally ready to leap into the sea to certain death just so the Davy clan can live on. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, a young, enslaved Bartholomew Kuma performs his first truly selfless act. He jumps right into the path of the demon's fatal attack, teleports Iris and baby Blackbeard to safety, and then he takes the full force of the blow himself. And not just the blow, but a cannonball from a marine warship at the same time. Which, of course, leaves us with a huge question. How on earth does a kid who's already injured from being a slave survive a direct hit from this monster and a massive naval explosion all at once? It's an incredible, almost impossible feat of endurance. And that single rescue, it has absolutely massive implications for the future. Because Kuma saved her, Iris lives to pass on all the knowledge and history of the Davy clan to her son. This is the moment, right here, that sets Blackbeard on the path to becoming the cunning, knowledgeable, and incredibly dangerous enemy he is in the present day.
All right, so the rampage finally comes to an end, and in the eerie quiet that follows, we go back to Zevek for his final, tragic moment.
But before we get to what he says, we have to talk about how he says it. Because it's not with his voice. He communicates through that mysterious power known as the voice of all things. You know, that super rare kind of telepathic ability to hear the voice of everything? It's something only a select few, like Roger and Luffy, can even perceive.
And in this brief, fleeting moment where he regains consciousness, Zebek sends out this absolutely heartbreaking plea directly into the minds of the two men standing right in front of him, Goldie Roger and Monkey D. Garp. And this is the tragic heart of the whole story. The emotional shock of believing he had just killed his own wife and child in an attack he couldn't even control, that seems to be what lets his true self break through one last time. His final act as Rocksteady Zebek is to beg for his own death, completely tormented by a crime he only thinks he committed.
And with that one desperate, silent plea, the legendary battle that will finally bring the God Valley incident to a close is officially set to begin.
So, the fall of Rocksteady Zebek, it wasn't just an ending. It was the beginning of so many new stories. His defeat leaves behind a whole world of unanswered questions. You know, what's going to happen with Harold? What's the true fate of Loki? And how in the world will the Giants of Elbaf play into all this? These are the mysteries that were born from the ashes of God Valley, and you can be sure they're going to shape the future of the entire world.